Tang Tang's first meeting with Su Jin An, a self-proclaimed high-IQ elite educated overseas, began with him being 2 hours late. 3 tractors rumbled past, dousing her in clouds of dust one after another. She had reviewed her lecture notes a dozen times, yet there was still no sign of him. Bored and irritable, Han Tang swung her legs and kicked a pebble 10 meters away. Those 2 hours could have let her prepare an entire extra lesson. At last, a faint dot appeared on the horizon, slowly resolving into a coach bus. She sat up straight, ready with a practiced polite smile, though it never got used. The moment the door swung open, a handsome young man stumbled out and crashed straight into her arms. Caught off guard, Tang Tang froze stiff. He pulled away after a moment, weak and parched. "Do you have any water?" After a few sips, he perked up, grinning vaguely. "Has anyone considered turning this road into a tourist attraction? The ride here beats any roller coaster or pendulum ride at Happy Valley." Keeping her tone formal, she held out her hand. "I'm Tang Tang, lead teacher at Pingguo Primary School." "It's a pleasure to welcome you." Su Jin grinned back, unceremoniously shoving a large suitcase into her grasp. "No need for such formalities. I'm Su Jin An. Take good care of me, buddy." Thrown off by his overly casual attitude, Tang Tang dragged his suitcase to the staff dormitory she had cleaned personally. The single room came with a private bathroom, spotless from top to bottom. Still, she clearly saw his brows furrow the second he stepped inside. He said nothing critical, only asking, "Does the village have courier delivery?" "Couriers probably aren't fond of off-road thrill rides either," she retorted dryly. Somehow, the line amused him. He unzipped a suitcase lined with imported German alcoholic drinks, shaking a can at her with a roguish smile. "Care for a taste?" After a moment's hesitation, Han Tang nodded. As night fell, Su Jin vented hours of complaints about the canteen, the dormitory, and the rough journey. Glancing over, he found Tang Tang glassy-eyed, giggling mindlessly. Realizing she could barely stand, he slung her over his back, sneering, "How can a grown man hold so little liquor? Having to carry you home." Tang Tang wriggled weakly. "Put me down. Men and women ought to keep their distance." Mistaking her words for an insult, Su Jin flared up instantly. "Hey, who are you calling soft?" Tang Tang woke the next morning in Su Jin's room. Confused by the unfamiliar surroundings, she sat up sharply before collapsing back with a splitting headache. The noise roused Su Jin, who had slept on the floor. He handed her a bottle of water. "Awake? How did I end up here?" "You refused to tell me your room number last night. I couldn't leave you by the river." Spotting his makeshift bedding on the cold floor, guilt washed over her. She insisted he take the bed, only for him to scoff. "Quit being dramatic, brother." "Brother?" Tang Tang stared in shock. Fed up, she took a deep breath and shouted firmly, "I'm a girl." Zhu. Jin's easing smirk froze completely. An awkward silence settled between them afterward. Tasked with showing him around the village, Tang Tang found him stubbornly refusing to walk beside her. They trailed meters apart, her raising her voice to point out local scenery. Late summer painted the mountains in lush green, cicadas chirping beside clear mountain streams. Nimbly climbing a small slope, Han Tang plucked a ripe pomegranate. "The pomegranates here are sweet," she explained, losing her footing climbing down. She slipped and fell forward. Su Jin snapped to attention, striding over in an instant to catch her firmly around the waist. He steadied her, frowning. "Can't you watch your step before scrambling up slopes?" Tang Tang's face burned redder than the fruit in her hands. She split the pomegranate awkwardly. "Do you still want some?" Their faces were inches apart. She heard the steady thud of his heartbeat, noticing his sharp jawline, straight nose, and soft eyes. "What are you staring at?" he asked, a playful glint in his gaze. "You," she answered without thinking. A smug, boyish smile tugged at his lips. Mortified, Tang Tang squeezed her eyes shut in despair. "After a day of rest, Tong Tong assigned Zhu Jin, and to teach 6th grade English. Pingbo Primary School was tiny, with only 5 teachers in total. She placed him with the most advanced class to ease his adjustment. His first class left him utterly stunned. Inviting the students to ask questions in English, he could not understand a single word the class monitor spoke. Her thick local accent rivaled an Indian IELTS examiner, warping every pronunciation. By the end of the lesson, his refined British accent was thoroughly thrown off. Tang Tang found him leaning against the corridor wall with headphones, lost in thought beneath the golden sunset glow. Hard at lesson planning, Teacher Zhu, she joked softly. Saving my accent, he huffed. I came to teach them, not get assimilated by Pingbo dialect English. Unaware of his sarcasm, she explained gently that the previous local teacher had a regional accent. Please be patient with the children. Annoyed by the endless accent struggles, he muttered, if I can't fix it, you'll just make them do worksheets. Tang Tang dismissed the comment as empty talk and hurried to her own class. Days passed peacefully until the class monitor tearfully begged Tang Tang to reassign their English teacher. Zhu Jin and, defeated by their accents, had abandoned speaking and listening lessons entirely, forcing endless exam drills without a word to the staff. Furious at his careless attitude toward teaching, Tang Tong marched into his mid-afternoon class. Leave this room, she said coldly. I'll take over for now. Before he could tease her, she slammed the classroom door shut. Even the slow-witted Zhu Jin incensed her anger, utterly confused by her fury. Taking over the extra class stretched Tang Tang thin, her schedule already packed from Monday to Friday. Weak and feverish with a sore throat she had ignored for days, she played slow listening audio, correcting each student's pronunciation one by one. Overcome by dizziness, she laid her head on an empty desk and drifted into a heavy sleep. The monitor rushed for help and found Zhu Jin and lingering outside. Setting aside her dislike, she begged him to help their sick teacher. Panicked, he rushed inside, relieved only after confirming it was just a common fever. He hunted for medicine, mixing warm water to help her take the pills. Watching her peaceful, sleeping face, soft hair falling over her shoulders, Zhu Jin felt a strange, unspoken shift in his chest. He stepped outside quietly, reining in his tangled emotions. For days, he tended to her dutifully, mending their rift. He explained his methods. With graduation looming, he prioritized exam skills over accents, as scores alone determined middle school admissions. Her throat too sore to argue. Tang Tang relented. Just explain yourself to the students to clear up misunderstandings. Instantly attentive, he brought her warm herbal tea. Anything you say. You're surprisingly good at taking care of others, she murmured. He tapped her forehead lightly. Don't get used to it. I've never done this for anyone else. Dusk fell, and he turned on her bedside nightlight. A faint scent of medicine lingered in the room. His rare earnest expression made her heart race and her cheeks flush. Pausing at the door, he glanced back. My birthday is next Friday. His eyes held quiet, unspoken hope. Zhu Jin could not explain why he had told Tang Tang about his birthday. He had never cared much for celebrations, yet after learning she made special plum jelly for students' birthdays, he found himself longing for a taste, despite disliking sweets. On his birthday, he taught back to back morning lessons, receiving armfuls of hand drawn cards. Popular among the children for his good looks and gentle voice, he waited all day for just one simple wish from Tang Tang. Unable to wait any longer, at noon, he wandered to her cottage. The door stood open, sweet fruity fragrance drifting through the air. He peeked inside, watching her quietly arranging fruit over bowls of jelly. A sharp voice interrupted the moment. A stylish girl with immaculate makeup threw her arms around Zhu Jin and, complaining bitterly about the terrible journey. This place is dreadful. Hurry and take me for dinner. Her intimate tone made the place bombed clear. Tang Tang's smile faded. She retreated indoors silently. The girl, his childhood friend, had traveled far to celebrate his birthday, her suitcase crammed full of his favorite snacks, games, and daily necessities. Only a few dozen days left until your term ends, she said casually. You'll be back home soon. 8 winds of sorrow hit Tang Tang. She had forgotten his stay was only temporary. Murmuring an excuse, she stepped outside, distributing the prepared jelly to the cheering children and keeping 2 bowls aside. She wandered along the mountain path they had taken on his first day, reminiscing over every small memory they had shared in the past months. Her hair had grown long again, uncut, and she knew it was not Bisneason's holding her back. Beneath his lazy, spoiled exterior, she had seen his hidden patience, kindness, and tenderness, and she could never forget it. Returning long after dark, she found him waiting outside her door instead of with his childhood friend. Shivering in the cold night air, she hurried him inside. Why wait out here in the cold? Heartless girl, he mumbled, soft hurt in his tone. 20 minutes until midnight. You still haven't wished me happy birthday. Handing him the reserve jelly, she smiled gently. Happy birthday. His face lit up with pure joy as he ate. Do Jinan, she whispered. Voice fragile as wind. When you leave, please don't tell me. He agreed without hesitation. Keeping his departure a strict secret, Tang Tang soon regretted her request, counting days on the calendar, waking early each morning to check for the arrival of his ride. One dawn, she jolted awake at the rumble of a familiar coach. Rushing outside in a daze, she found him loading his luggage. Did I wake you? He asked, confused by her frantic rush. Speechless, she struggled to find the right words. I don't want you to leave, felt too selfish, I'll miss you, far too sentimental. At last, she whispered. I'm going back to sleep. Safe travels. I left gifts for everyone, he called, grinning his usual playful grin. Don't miss me too much. Waving silently, she turned away. Never uttering goodbye, she knew their brief encounter would end with his departure. He belonged to a different world, one represented by the city girl who had visited him. He left nearly all his belongings behind: game consoles, music players, imported snacks, and English materials, neatly placed in his dormitory. On his bedside table sat a half-burned scented candle, carrying the sweet, fruity, and woody scent that always clung to him. She divided his gifts among the teachers and students, keeping only the candle for herself, breathing in its faint fragrance whenever she missed him. Summer came again. Lush green returned to the mountains. Rivers swelled with rain, and cicadas sang once more. His 6th grade students had graduated, sending collective letters for Tang Tang to forward. Weeks later, a parcel notice arrived. Ignoring the dark, stormy sky, she hurried to the town post office, collecting his package just before closing time. The doctor grew treacherous as heavy summer rains flooded the mountain road, bringing the threat of flash floods. Clutching his parcel, her mind raced with wild thoughts, wondering if there was a gift meant only for her inside. Their meeting had always been temporary. She had longed to ask if his special care for her held deeper meaning, yet she always fell silent beneath his gaze. Sighing softly, he thought of him fondly, the infuriating, charming young Master Zhu. When news of the Pingguo flash flood trended online, Zhu Jinan was dining with friends. The second he spotted the headline, his fork clattered to the table. Making a rushed excuse, he raced out of the restaurant without a second thought. That night was the longest and most agonizing of his life. He had received her message that morning, saying she would open his parcel soon. Though bound by a 1-semester contract, he had never truly planned to leave. For all the village's hardships, it held countless precious memories. Green mountain forests, gurgling streams, earnest students, and most of all, Tang Tang. He had traveled home temporarily to secure funding for Pingguo Primary School, the investment papers hidden inside his parcel. He had hoped she would understand his unspoken feelings. He still remembered her quiet voice on his birthday, begging not to know when he left. She was stubborn and reserved, never voicing her longing, yet sending small updates about falling leaves and starry nights instead. Still, he loved her, captivated the day she slipped into his arms, watching her teach through a classroom doorway, or smiling as she handed him homemade jelly. Love had crept up quietly, impossible to ignore. Terrified of losing her to the flood, He rushed to the village without hesitation. Tang Tang stared in shock at the disheveled yet still neat Zhu Jin standing at her doorstep. They spoke in unison. Long time no see. Are you hurt? The flood hit the other mountains, she explained quickly. We're safe. Frozen in embarrassment, he scrambled for an excuse. My dorm room still exists. I'm stranded here for the night. Leading him over, she gestured to the empty center of his old room. You left all your things as gifts. I passed them out to everyone. Horrified, he realized his personal items and spare electronics had all been given away. He pulled open the bedside drawer, revealing a folded note. I take it you never checked this. Confused, she picked it up. Written in his bold, unrestrained handwriting was a single line of lyrics. She remembered it well. He had rambled for hours about his favorite band once, sharing his music and slipping her an earphone to listen to a soft love song. The lyric was a quiet confession. When I think of you, I think of soft vanilla ice cream, sun minus warmed grass, gentle morning winds, twinkling night stars, and every beautiful thing in the world. When I think of you, I think of spring.